Trees are living things, and we are constantly learning more about them. Half of our medications come from the plant kingdom. The human body seems to recognize and be healed by remedies derived from plants. Our cells speak the same language. We are of the same family. 1.6 billion, or nearly 1 in every 4 humans, are directly dependent on the forest for their daily livelihood. And 7 billion people, in other words, all of us, rely on all the benefits the forests bestow. They produce the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the medications that maintain our health.
As I pointed out by holding up this list, the list of conditions for which cannabis is useful is extremely lengthy. That's a quick overview of some of the conditions that cannabis is useful in treating. Most people tend to take cannabis at least in the evening. Some people take it more often than that. And the reason is that many of these conditions interfere with sleep, and then there are some people who just have sleep problems, have insomnia difficulty, and cannabis is very useful in assisting people in going to sleep. Now, if they have difficulty staying asleep, in addition to smoking or vaporizing or using it sublingually, they should also use it as an edible or drink it, because it will kick in 45 minutes into their sleep, and it will be effective for about 5 to 6 hours.
These are studies that were done both in experimental animals and in cell culture systems, and for different kinds of cancer. For lung cancer, breast cancer, thyroid cancer, prostate cancer, gliomas, brain cancer, that the development and growth, or the growth actually of the tumor is suppressed by THC, and metastases are also suppressed. So how can that be? Well, THC impairs protein synthesis, and it's what we call anti-mitogenic or anti-proliferative. You need, so tumor cells don't as readily proliferate in the presence of THC. They're also anti-angiogenic, so they interfere with the growth and development of new blood vessels that are necessary for metastatic spread. And they also are pro-apoptotic. What is apoptosis? Apoptosis is programmed cell death. So when cells age, there is a mechanism whereby the cells die. It's a non-necrotic death to die off the old cells, and we get rid of them before they have an opportunity to develop mutations that would lead to cancer. So enhancing apoptosis diminishes the risk of the cells becoming cancerous. So marijuana turns out, THC rather, turns out to be pro-apoptotic. So those appear to be the mechanisms that might account for these anti-tumoral effects of THC.
Right. Well, there's all sorts of different ways as well. People are used to thinking of it that way, but it also can be in baked goods. It can be in a capsule form where you're actually taking some of the active ingredients. THC is the ingredient people talk about quite a bit. It can give you that feeling of being high, but it can also, it's a very good nausea medication, for example. And this is not anecdotal anymore. This has been proven in studies dating back to the 1970s. So people who are getting chemotherapy, for example, can take this to try and prevent the nausea associated with that.
Hier waren die 10 Minuten. Achtung, fertig, los!
Mother Mary Joseph Obed was the first person known to grow cannabis in New Zealand. At that time, New Zealand was mostly wild, scattered with sporadic settler outposts and isolated Māori villages. Mother Mary and her 4 faithful had been sent to revive the mission in Jerusalem. Māori canoes carried the nuns up the Wanganui River to the mission, which had been abandoned during the Ho-Ho Troubles. As well as speaking English, Spanish, Italian, and French fluently, Mother Mary also spoke perfect Māori, even writing several important books in that language. And she became trusted by the Māori, who invited her to study their healing techniques and herbal remedies. Combining this knowledge with her European medical training and work as a nurse in the Crimean War, she began producing medicines grown from a herb garden, whose sale would finance the expansion of her order. A church was soon built, and there she founded New Zealand's only homegrown Catholic order, the first to accept Māori sisters. Next, Mother Mary opened a school, and in two whares the sisters looked after people with incurable diseases. The 1880s and 90s were years of Great Depression in New Zealand. The community at Jerusalem began to take in abandoned babies, and Mother Mary saw and fulfilled the need to establish New Zealand's first orphanages for their care. She firmly refused to restrict her activities to Catholics, telling benefactors who wanted to place such a condition on donations,
"My work is the salvation of souls, not the satisfaction of Catholics."
Mother Mary's reliance on benefactors was mitigated by the success of her botanical medicine sales. Her Indian hemp remedies soon became the chief proprietary medicine of New Zealand, exporting 4,000 bottles a month. The profits financed the building of schools, orphanages, hospitals, and hospices. Her medical marijuana industry helped fund an astonishing life's work as a healer, teacher, and philanthropist, for which the Vatican is currently making her a saint. During the period she was producing cannabis on her hillside farm, it was the most widely used medicine in the world. She used it herself and prescribed it to her nuns.
In her lifetime, there were no laws or social stigmas around cannabis, and very few reports of its problematic use. On the contrary, it was then the world's most important single crop, cultivated on 6 continents for its industrial properties, as well as its agricultural value as a food crop and medicine. Something Mother Mary understood when she first brought Indian hemp seeds to Jerusalem. Mother Mary was remarkable for the breadth of her knowledge and the reach of her social concern. She was one of the most important figures in New Zealand history, influencing developments in social welfare, health, the treatment of women and children, education and Māori scholarship. She was instrumental in fostering non-sectarian tolerance and cooperation in Aotearoa. She died at the age of 91 in 1926 and received the largest funeral to honour any woman in New Zealand history.
In 1927, in compliance with international drug control treaties, the Dangerous Drugs Act was passed into law. Since then, cannabis has been prohibited in New Zealand.